what kind of tools do you keep in your bag? Like every salesperson has like their go-to tools. So
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's tough. So my go-to tools, I mean, that's going to change situation to situation, but we'll go about, so because I'm a gym operator and a business operator, we'll start with, I guess, the thing that I know will make the biggest impact to my club long-term is point of sale, like a new person walking in. So we'll kind of talk about that, is providing them the greatest experience possible and making it value-based towards their fitness routine. Because again, if I onboard this member, I give them a great experience, they'll stay longer and get to their goals, which is going to have a ton of different business ideas or business benefits for my club.
yeah,
I guess, but in that process, there's a lot of sales skills I use. One is I truly believe people buy you. Whatever you're doing, whether it's an interview, you're trying to get a date, you're selling a product, you're selling gym, people buy you.
Yeah.
So you have to be likable and trustable. So I could promise you, if they don't like and they don't trust you, they will not buy from you. They'll buy from someone else. They'll go down the street with the same product that's more expensive just because they didn't like you.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean they'll buy because they like and trust you, but that's the only way they will. So that's step one, and that starts all the way when it comes to like that first interaction, that first impression. So they talk about kind of like 2 first impressions. Like one gets formulated like immediately, and it could take up to 7 seconds. And there's another one that kind of knows like, do I trust this person? And that one takes a little bit longer, but it's still a couple minutes.
Yeah.
It's like,
It's
where
so
they
pretty
let
quick.
their guard
Yeah.
down. I think it's like, so 7 seconds. I think the other one was like within 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Where they're
So
like,
pretty
can I
quick.
let my guard down with you? So that's step one. And then my biggest thing is obviously mirroring. So when they come in, I'm my best self, smile, energetic, handshake, and then I figure out who they are shortly after.
Yeah.
And then I go into what I call 4 levels of a goal after that. So that being level, when we're talking about fitness, so the 4 levels of that, and this is where I start to identify it. And you have to take it a layer at a time because they're only going to give you 1 layer at a time. So when you're looking at the 4 levels of a goal, level 1 is going to be their vague goal, kind of their surface level, that first thing that they tell you when you are still figuring out that first impression piece.
Yeah.
And then the level 2 goal is when you're starting to get a little bit more relationship built with them. This is going to be their specific goal. What are they in here today doing, and what am I going to help them get to?
Yeah.
Level 3 is now if you can combine specific with a time bound. And time when it comes to like a fitness goal isn't super important to me, but the way I leverage it to get to my level 4 goal, which is now their emotional connection. So everything I do is a reverse engineer of how can I get to their why, which is their level 4 goal and their emotional connection, and what this is going to do for them.
Yeah.
So there's a lot more that I do in my gym to break down that. So people are asking like, what, like probably like, it's just selling a gym membership. What are we talking about?
Yeah. It goes
But the biggest thing going into it now is I have to tour this person around my facility, and I don't mean it in a way that I'm just going to walk them around my gym. Here's treadmills. Here's a pool. Here's some 45-pound dumb plates. It's you feel like you're a tour guide in a museum.
Yeah, museum tour guide.
You are a fitness professional. So you find out these goals because you want to connect with them. So when I'm touring them around, I break it down into how it's going to affect them and their goal as I break down these levels. So I'm going into an area that, one, was probably the most important to them. That's why I need to find out their specific goal. So like, hey, like, you want to lose 20 pounds? Like, awesome. So it's weight loss.
Yeah.
So now if I wasn't here today, like, how would you have done that? Like walking in the gym today, what was your intent on what you would do to lose that 20 pounds? Oh, weightlifting. First place I'm taking him is weightlifting now because I'm still building up that first impression, trust. I need him to trust me.
Yeah.
Same thing if it was like a guy and he told me he wanted to do the treadmill to lose weight. I'm taking him to the treadmills.
Yeah.
First thing I'm going to do is not going to be like, oh, you're wrong. Cardio isn't the best. Let me take you to the weights because now I'm already losing that trust.
Yeah.
So that was a lot of ranting. I need to catch my breath.
I mean, I loved it. I loved exactly what you said. I think the most important thing is definitely first impressions. I think first impressions go a long way. So especially for like someone especially for going into a gym atmosphere, like it's very intimidating off rip. So like you don't want to be the person that's already coming off even more intimidating because like they don't even want to be in the facility. So it's like, but not just for like specific like fitness sales, but also just for in sales in general. Like I think for first impressions, they're super important.
Huge.
So yeah, the 7 seconds thing, and then I think it's like 30 seconds or a minute later or 3 minutes later. Like again, they drop their guard again. But there's the other one where it's like based off of like how you look, that people buy off of like your appearance, and then it's like that's like 50% of like how they buy.
Yeah.
And then it's like another 40% is based off of like your tone and like how you sound. And then like 7% is like off the words you say.
Yeah.
It's like something minuscule and you're like, what the fuck? Like you can literally say not anything, but like you can say like some stupid shit. But if you're saying it with confidence and like the tone and you look the part, like people will buy from you.
Yeah.
And when I read that, I was like, what the fuck? Like that's insane. So yeah, I do a lot of mirroring when it comes to like my sales too. Like again, like regardless if it's like just for fitness, but for selling anyone in general, I do like mirroring, and I always like to give someone like a compliment.
Little icebreaker.
Yeah, a little icebreaker. I always break the ice with a compliment, like, hey, like, how's your day going? And like, oh, I love the shoes, or I love the watch, or I love the shirt, or like something simple. Just because one, that's gonna like I can judge based off where the conversation is going to go from there. It's like I already have a conversation started. It's like, oh damn, like where'd you get that watch, or where'd you get those shoes, or where'd you get those pants from? And like that can go like a branch everywhere. Like I can figure out how to start a conversation off of anything like that. So I always start off with like the simple like, hey, quick little compliment, or I'll give them like a little icebreaker. I think one of the tools that I figured out like the most that helped me sell the most was being vulnerable. So being vulnerable with the person that's in front of me, in order for them to be vulnerable with myself.
Yeah.
Again, because people buy from who they like and trust. So like if they're like, they see this 230-pound black man and they're like, oh, he's super vulnerable and nice. Like, hey, maybe I could drop my guard a little bit and like open up a little bit to him. So yeah,
I forget what book it was in, but I was reading a book and it was more related to how to build like more relationships in like a new workplace or something like that, or taking over as a leader. It was something of that nature. People are 40% more likely to like you and be involved with you if you ask them for help. Even if it's a topic you know about, like to show, because it shows that piece of vulnerability that you're talking about. And you show it in different ways. So it's a lot of times when I'm having like small talk with people when I'm trying to build that relationship up, because again, no one's going to tell me all their life stories and emotional connections around their fitness unless I actually care about who they are and we build a relationship of trust. Yeah. But one of the things is when we're talking about that is like, it might be little stuff of like where they work and what do they do for work. Yeah. Some people use that for more like, oh, I'm going to qualify this person, their finances. No, I truly want to know. And then hopefully they do something I have no idea about, so that I can ask them more about it. Like, that's an awesome job. Like, how'd you get into that? Tell me more. Like, if it's finance, I would like, I'll mention a little bit of like the dumb mistakes I've made in finance. Like, man, I would need your help for sure. And then they're like, oh, this guy's harmless.
He's a nice guy.